Hello, this is Mark D'Amico, Chief Officer of Curriculum and Leadership K-12 for the Greenwich Public Schools. The purpose of today's report is to provide an update to the board and greater community on our progress meeting the metrics outlined in our strategic plan. On the ensuing slides, we will highlight achievement results on our goals. Goal number 1 in our strategic plan is mastery of reading. As a community, we have set the following 5-year benchmarks to guide our curriculum management and school improvement plans. Before we delve into the first ELA sub-goal, which focuses on growth targets, we will review how a student's personal growth target is calculated. Each student is given a personal growth target based on how they performed in the prior year. The target is a specific number of scaled score points as illustrated here. For example, if a third grade student scored 2,331, then their target for fourth grade would be plus 71 points. If a sixth grade student scored a 2,460, then their target for seventh grade would be 53. In this scenario, if both students maintain a growth target each year, then by the end of eighth grade, they will be performing at meets or exceeds on the SBA. ELA subgoal A is related to all students meeting their growth target on SBA. The percentage of students meeting their growth target improved nearly 2 percentage points from 2022 to 2023. We are pleased that our percentage rate of students meeting their growth target is higher than the state average, and more notably, higher than neighboring districts including Darien, Westport, Wilton, and Fairfield. This graph illustrates a general overview for grades 3 through 8 over the past 3 years. Our achievement remains well above the state average. The slight dip from 2022 to 2023 is consistent with an overall state trend, including schools in our neighboring districts. As we look towards the next 4 years, we expect to see overall achievement gains based upon our thoughtful improvements to our elementary and middle school ELA program. ELA subgoal B, as outlined in our strategic plan, is 90% of the 5-year fourth graders will read on grade level as determined by the SBA by 2027. We were very close to the expected target for this year. We expect to see continued growth in this metric as we see cohorts of students that have been instructed with our comprehensive early literacy program reach fourth grade. Finally, we look forward to utilizing the data from DIBBLES, our new Reading Universal Screening tool, which will allow us early identification of students in grades K through 3 that are at risk for reading difficulties. ELA subgoal C, as outlined by the strategic plan, is 92% of 5-year 8th graders will read on grade level as determined by the SBA by 2027. While the 2023's 5-year 8th graders scored lower than the 8th grade class in 2022, we expect to see the overall 8th grade metrics to improve by 2027. We should see scores trending upwards based on the improvements we have implemented in elementary and middle school ELA. For example, by 2027, our 8th grade class will have had instruction in Foundations in grades K through 3, Grammar and Vocabulary Workshop in grades 4 and 5, and 3 years of instruction in our new middle school standards-based reading and writing lessons. District-wide implementation of Foundations has already proven to have a positive impact on our early literacy achievement in grades K and 1, as indicated by growth in our STAR early literacy scores over the past 7 years. Please pay particular attention to the dark blue, which represents performance post-Foundations implementation. Currently, Foundations is being implemented in pre-K through grade 3. As outlined in our strategic plan, the reading and writing subgoal D is 59% of high needs 11th graders will score at level 3 on the SAT. The reading and writing section of the SAT is comprised of readings from across disciplines, primarily literature, social studies, and science. GHS is highly focused on strengthening interventions and supports for students to move closer to the overall goal. Key strategies include 1. Using Linkit. Each teacher reviewed PSAT scores from last year and identified their high-need students requiring additional support. 2. Teachers will use their professional learning community time to analyze data and choose additional research-based supports for those students in high need, including close reading strategies and strategies from College Board Insights to design exercises and lessons targeting students who are not performing at or near level 3. 3. Teachers will monitor and respond to results of follow-up common formative assessments and identify students who will benefit from additional help in the house learning centers or SAT Academy. 4. Teachers will embed new SAT-like questions within all assessment opportunities. Teachers will expose students who have less experience with the SAT to an overview of the new SAT and give them practice opportunities. Students who score below 480 on the PSAT during their junior year will be required to attend Flex and/or the SAT Academy. Next, house teams will make a concerted effort to ensure that all high-need students take the fall PSAT so that we have their latest scores to analyze and that they have the testing experience. Finally, teachers will work closely with special education peers in co-teaching and collaboration to prepare students in special education for the test. Goal number 2 in our strategic plan is mastery of mathematics. As a community, we have set the following 5-year benchmarks to guide our curriculum management and school improvement plans. Please take specific note of sub-goal A. 100% of students will meet their growth on SBA. This first goal has a direct effect on the 3 that follow. We are focused on creating a pipeline of students that meet and exceed their individual goals. For the 2023-24 school year, we are taking a deliberate, systematic approach through IXL to monitor individual student growth. This will help teachers adapt to student needs on a more frequent basis. We had a moderate increase in overall growth in 2023. Sub-goal B, as outlined by our strategic plan, is 75% of 5-year 8th graders will successfully complete algebra by 2027. We set a goal of 62% for 2023. While 62% of students were enrolled, only 58.4% of students finished with a C or above. Last year's 8th graders were the last group that skipped content in order to be in algebra by grade 8. Now, with the adoption of Big Ideas Math, we are compacting the curriculum instead of skipping content. As stated in the past, we remain committed to compacting curriculum to make sure all students are exposed to all concepts, regardless of pacing, to ensure we are meeting the board goal of 75% of students successfully completing algebra by grade 8. Sub-goal C, as outlined by our strategic plan, is 80% of students will meet or exceed benchmark on the SBA by 2027. Grades 3 through 8 SBA achievement has continued the steady positive trend. We have shifted from initial implementation of the Big Ideas program to refinement of instructional practices. We are exploring the logistical and environmental shifts that need to be made to promote active versus passive learning. Both the middle school and high school teachers are reading Building Thinking Classrooms by Peter Liljedahl to guide this work. Sub-goal D, as outlined by our strategic plan, is 80% of 11th graders will score at, meet, or exceed on SAT by 2027. There was marked improvement in our performance on the SAT over the last 3 years, from 59% to 63.2%. Through refinement, teachers continue to include more SAT-related problems in their instruction, as well as expose students to the new digital SAT. In addition, we provide access to the Math Learning Center and our SAT Academy for additional support. Goal number 3 in our strategic plan is mastery of science. This is measured by the NGSS test, which is taken by students in grades 5, 8, and 11. As a community, we have set the following 5-year benchmarks to guide our curriculum management and school improvement plans. 80% meets or exceeds for grades 5 and 8, and 85% meets or exceeds for grade 11. The 2023 fifth grade cohort surpassed last year's, showing a 3-year trend of successful growth in elementary science. The 2023 eighth grade cohort showed a very strong increase, scoring 76.8% meets or exceeds. This factor exceeded our target of 73%. This growth trend is most encouraging given it is reflective of our third year of whole district implementation of the middle school science curriculum. 11th graders fell short of their 2023 target, but with a relatively flat performance versus last year. Approximately 79% of the juniors met or exceeded district level expectations on the 2023 NGSS assessment, which is well above the state average of approximately 48%. Greenwich High School ranked 10th in the state for the percentage of students that met or exceeded expectations and 6th for average scale score, which was 1,125. We continue to focus on the science and engineering practices and cross-cutting concepts through a universal design for learning lens. The department is utilizing departmental benchmarks and formative assessments to track student data in order to identify areas of student growth and implement MTSS interventions to support their learning. The science department has increased instructional time for students in practical level courses. The new NGSS practical labs increase hands-on experiences and support scientific literacy. We have also provided students in our ESL courses with iPads to have access to a digital translator to support their learning. We will now look at the results for Goal 4, graduation rates. Goal 4, as outlined in our strategic plan, is 99% of the GHS 9th grade cohort will graduate in 4 years. The 4-year cohort is defined by the students who have been with us since 9th grade. Given that only 92% of our high-need students graduate in 2022, compared to 99% of their peers, we are focused on identifying pathways to increase the graduation rate for those high-need students. We do not yet have the 2023 statistic from the state, but expect it to be released in December or January. Now we will move to advanced placement results. Roughly 30% of GHS students take at least one AP test. In 2023, we had 877 students take an AP. Participation is up strongly in English, math, science, and social studies. The math and computer science department's results continue to be solid. There were a total of 398 exams, up from 346, given in our department this year, and our averages continue to be strong. This year's results show growth in all areas except one, AP Statistics, where it decreased by 0.01. There were a total of 375 exams given, plus 32, in science. Each course showed growth except in 2, AP Environmental Science, which decreased by 0.01, and AP Physics C, Mechanism, which decreased by 0.03. Enrollment in AP classes continues to increase as we strive to challenge and provide our students with a rigorous curriculum. The Social Studies Department continues to administer the greatest number of AP exams at GHS, with 1,002 exams given last year. Our scores continue to hold strong with the increasing enrollment of students in our AP courses. Every course except one saw an increase in the number of students taking an AP exam. Moreover, the school mean for every social studies exam exceeded the state and global averages. This year's results show growth in all areas except one, AP Psychology, where it decreased by 0.06. In English, participation in the AP Language and Composition exam was at an all-time high and is the AP course with the highest enrollment. The AP Language and Composition mean score, 3.58, is slightly down from last year's 3.63, with 290 students taking the test. The AP Literature and Composition mean score of 4.29, though slightly down from last year's record high of 4.37, is still very strong. In World Language, our participation in advanced placement dropped slightly from 189 exams in 2022 to 171 exams this past year. With that being said, our mean scores went up in every language program for a total mean score of 4.25. Only one of our students did not make the proficiency threshold for the seal of biliteracy, which requires students to earn at least a 3 on the AP exam. We will focus this year on incentives for students to enroll and complete the AP exam. In order to be considered passing, a student must score a 3, 4, or 5. Overall, we are seeing strong results with all core areas. Goal 5 in our strategic plan is focused on our GPS end-of-the-year surveys for families, staff, and students as we work to form stronger support and collaboration among all stakeholders. In terms of homeschool connection, we are pleased that we continue to trend up, and this past year, GPS hit the target which had been set for 2027. Although the strategic metric focuses on homeschool connection, we saw strong results in school fit and safety as well. To dig in deeper to the actual questions, note the marked increase from families in being welcomed partners in their child's learning. Over the past few years, GPS has specifically implemented more curriculum information, parent and guardian supports, and more information available on the website. Overall, GPS has trended up over the past 4 years by 20% overall and 30% in being welcome partners in their child's education. Goal 6 on our strategic plan focuses on student belonging. We are pleased again to see that GPS is trending in the right direction, from 55% in 2021 to 72% in 2023. Goal 7 of the strategic plan focuses on school climate for staff. Staff responses are also trending in the right direction and moving closer to our stretch goal of 75% on or before 2027. Looking at the detailed view, one of the most positive metrics is question 4, the first one listed, where 83% of the staff feel they are trusted to work in the way they think is best. Each school looks at all of these metrics individually and sets their school improvement goals around those areas which need more attention according to their respective staff. Risk assessment data has become more important coming out of COVID and has also become more of a state and national focus. In GPS, our total incidents went down last year, and the district continues to monitor this closely. The blue is elementary, the gold is middle school, and GHS is in red. This chart shows the total risks from 2021 to 2023, and it is now noted that the vast majority of risks are low. For instance, a student who verbally states something alarming but does not rise to the level that they want to actually harm themselves. At-risk students are often taken directly to the hospital or for outpatient care with their families. As requested by the BOE last year, we want to provide some benchmarking information based on the district reference groups, often referred to as DIRG, which was previously utilized at the state level. Benchmarking against like districts means that your demographics are similar. On this slide, you can see 5 DIRG A districts and 3 DIRG B districts. GPS is considered DIRG B in blue, and you will notice the percentage of free and reduced students is similar to the other 2 DIRG B communities in Fairfield County. We like to compare ourselves to DIRG A to aim high, but there are many differences. Note that New Canaan has 0% free and reduced, with the next closest DIRG A being Wilton, who has almost 2/3 less of families who qualify for free and reduced than DIRG B districts. Similar again, when we look at the percent of English language learners, the consistency among DIRG B is noted and highlighted in blue. The data set is from 2022, which is the most recent information available. Now we will look at the district comparison data for language arts, including growth data. Greenwich is on par with other DIRG B schools in grades 3 through 8, but not far behind DIRG A. GPS is only 5.5 percentage points behind the second highest scoring district in DIRG A. We anticipate continued growth as we get into years 2 and 3 of implementation of our new instructional resources in grades K through 8. There's a wider gap between DIRG A and DIRG B on grade 11 reading and writing. We will be implementing some new strategies during the 2023-24 year and believe the score is more indicative of not focusing on the SAT school day than the actual potential performance of students. One important aspect of our ELA SBA results is the growth measurement. GPS investment in standards and science-based curricular resources and professional learning for teachers are celebrated in these scores. Our strong growth rates put us just behind New Canaan, a small DIRG A district with vastly different demographics than Greenwich. Through continued focus on individual growth, we hope to see these growth scores continue to grow year over year. Now we will look at the District Reference Group's data for mathematics. Greenwich is at the top of DIRG B for grades 3 through 8, and we anticipate an upward trend as we continue to refine instructional practices across the district. SAT data is not as strong as we would like, but again, there has not been a strong focus on this particular assessment, and we are putting in some approaches during the 2023-24 year, working to grow stronger in this area. Greenwich is at the top of DIRG B, and we are anticipating more success as we continue to focus on individual student growth moving forward. Next generation science standards are given in grades 5, 8, and 11. The overall composite has GPS with a strong score in DIRG B and slightly behind DIRG A. Looking specifically at elementary science achievement across district comparisons, GPS is the lowest in the compared systems of DIRG A and DIRG B. It is important to note that the focus for GPS has been heavily on literacy and numeracy the past few years in K-5. And the districts of comparison here spend 40 to 60 minutes daily in science instruction in grades 3 through 5 on average, where we spend 30 minutes. Remember, our 72.7% achievement in 5th grade is a 3-year high. Furthermore, 2023-24 GPS is implementing several new resources and materials for K-5 science and technology integration. For example, teachers in grades K through 2 and students in grades 3 through 5 will have access to vernier data probes to measure force, speed, temperature, and more for hands-on learning experiences. In our 5-year curriculum management plan, the science curriculum in K-5 is up for review this year, and with the selection process in 2024-25 for implementation in 2025-26. In the meantime, we continue to find innovative ways to boost science instructional time and efforts at elementary level. We are laser focused on best strategies for instruction and assessment with a hands-on approach to teacher professional learning with grade level teams. GPS has been focusing heavily on science in middle school, and you can see that there is a significant climb above DIRG B, and also very close performance to both Darien and Westport DIRG A districts. We attribute this continued growth to the supports we have provided to all students, from those who struggle to those who are advanced. At the high school, GPS was third in comparison this past year, with only DIRG A, New Canaan, and Wilton scoring higher. Strong performance for GHS on the NGSS assessment. This concludes our presentation. Thank you.